Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Becoming CEO AF podcast. I'm your host, Kimba Garcia.
And I am your co-host, Amanda Bell.
And today, our guest that we have with us is not only been one of our close friends in our real friend circle, also an entrepreneur that we've been growing next to for the last year, and now our newest coach of CeoAf. I have to introduce you guys to Mercedes Davis.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
We are so excited to have you, Mercedes. And she just spilled the beans right before this and let me know that this is her first podcast that she's ever been on. So
it is.
I'm like, we are the first.
You're popping my cherry.
I love it. I'm great. In fact, I'm grateful. I'm super grateful. So Mercedes, just to dive in, well, I guess to give the listeners a little bit of backstory on our relationship, kind of where we came from, but we've been friends. Mercedes is a great surfer to start, right? So we're all lake people. We like to wake surf behind. We go to the boat. We go to the lake with our friends and hang out on the boats, and we surf behind the boats and do the wake surfing thing. So head over to Facebook if you don't know what that is. You'll see us all doing it. But Mercedes is actually great at it, right? I just started getting okay last year, but I really think that was the first time I met you was out on Steve's boat.
It was. We were going surfing, actually.
Yeah, we were going. So that was the first. So that was the first thing I knew about her. I'm like, she's a killer surfer. I know that much, and she's cool, right? But her and her husband own a trucking and a freight brokerage, and a, how do I word the other company?
I would trucking, just hot shot. We specialize in hot shots. Yeah. So, and that's what he had originally before we even got married. When we were dating, he had the trucking side. So he had, I think, maybe two other owner-operators at the time whenever I came on. But we were dating, and after some things that I had went through personally, I lost a job, was going to another job, and we just decided to take the leap and bet on us. So I quit both my jobs at the time and jumped into the office stuff and started really just tackling that and dispatching to the guys, and it started growing. Everything was really great. And in 2020, we decided to open up our freight brokerage. And so that has been my joy and what I have been pushing and trying to grow since then. And 2022, I just started to invest in me. So that was my word for the year. And I hired CEO, and it was from there, it's history, man. Like, it's been
and
fun.
that's really the last year I've really gotten to grow with you on a new capacity, business-wise, friend-wise, spiritual-wise.
Yes.
We've gotten to know each other at a spiritual level a lot deeper. So, Mercedes, let's rewind everybody, right? Because if you see Mercedes today, it's probably easy to think it's easy. She's great. She's beautiful. She's in killer shape. She's like a fitness guru. We were talking about that before we came on the podcast, because she used to be. It's funny, we were talking that it's, people think it's challenging to lose weight, but if you're a very petite person, to gain muscle is also very, very challenging. And I was telling Mercedes that's one of the things that I notice and admire about her is her dedication to her fitness journey and being able to put on the muscle. And not that you're a bodybuilder, but she's in great shape. She's beautiful. Her and her husband just bought their new home, great family, great kids, great mom. So I really kind of want to rewind back to the Mercedes before this version, right? And just kind of hear a little bit more about because without great sacrifice and challenge, you don't see people usually get to the level that you're at without that being part of the equation, right? So we want to start off by just diving into finding out a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah. So you took it to fitness, and that's actually where my journey started. I got married at a young age, so I got pregnant at 18. And then me and my high school sweetheart at the time, we ended up getting married a few years later and had my daughter I was pregnant on my wedding day. And then I had my next child after that. And just things led to another. We ended up getting a divorce back in 2016, I believe, is when we separated. And from there, I really just started focusing on myself, and it started in the gym. And I went for therapy. I went, obviously, to get my body in better health and shape because I just had 3 kids. I was narrow. I was skinny, very skinny, even after having children. So to build the muscle on me was hard. Mm-hmm. And it was a discipline that I had to show up every day in the gym. I was consistently taking my supplements. I was just eating right. I was doing all the things in order, and it really built discipline in me. It made me accountable for me. And that's when this journey started for me, because I always had that to fall back on. And no one could take that from me, you know? So just going through this divorce that I just went through, we didn't fight over the home or anything. I left it all in his name. It was on his family's property. So I set out to build my own empire, and I got myself a government apartment. It was $30 for my rent at this apartment. But that was a big leap for me because I had 3 kids and I had nothing but $400 to my name at the time. I was getting a child support check and that was it. And although it did help and I was grateful for that, I had to put myself through school because I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. And I had to figure out my next chapter in life. And with the fitness and showing up for myself, I knew no matter what I was going to go through, no matter the obstacles, that I could always count on me because I always showed up for myself, you know? That was a big piece to my story, really. And it just really evolved from there. I ended up going back to cosmetology school, and I specialized in men's haircuts. So I did that for a while. Things started going different ways because I wasn't really seeing the results in life that I wanted. It wasn't my passion. Although I loved doing it, it was more so of just a paycheck. And it really led me, though, to my now and where I'm at. So I take the scenic route in life, and that's okay because it all led me to here in this moment. And what haircut taught me is really how to communicate. You know, I'm there. I'm a therapist. I'm already coaching people in a sense, you know, as a hairstylist. And so it was really great just to have all that, you know, in my back pocket as I'm building me to step into this new role. And now being a business owner with my husband and teaching people and coaching, and it's been a wild ride. But I really have to give thanks and gratitude for myself for showing up in the gym and really putting the work in myself. Because when I built the character within, I could hold the tangible things in life that I was wanting, you know. I can't ask for something and not even be able to hold it at the same time or not be ready for it, you know. Yep. So I was building me. All those years I've been building me, and I'm finally starting to see, you know, all the things just come together naturally,
So I was also a hairstylist for 10 years. So that was another thing that I do remember Mercedes and I connected on. She's like, I'm also a cosmetologist. So I know exactly what you're saying. We do. Yeah. We go through deaths. We go through marriages.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, we go through improving people's self-esteem. You hear everything that happens when you're behind that chair. And I really, truly, I agree with you. That's where my coaching journey began too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing I really want to hear from you on, Mercedes, before we kind of jump into everything else in this podcast is, you've also really flourished a lot in your spiritual journey, especially over the last year to 2 years, I think. And even me just watching that third party has been really powerful. And in fact, you and I have been able to share a lot of that and learn from each other in a lot of ways from that. What do you think where did that come into play? Like, right? So you went from the gym, which is cool. We're lifting weights. You also said something I'll highlight, I guess, before we jump into that you could depend on yourself to show up for you every day. Yeah. And that's in CeoAf, what we teach people on how to trust themselves, right? If you know when you suck and you know when you show up. And when you see yourself show up, you're able to start viewing yourself as the kind of person that shows up. Right. And now you can make heavier commitments and take bigger risks because you trust yourself to execute. Yes. And the gym taught you all that, right? Which I just love. When did that connect back into the spiritual Mercedes that we see today?
Oh, man. Well, I grew up in Southern Baptist Church, so I've always had faith. I've always known God at, you know, my level at some capacity. But really in 2021, a big shift happened in our life, and I went through a divorce, and that divorce, we ended up working things out in a way that was really good. So this next part of my story, I'm really glad the way that how it happened where we were as co-parenting. Yeah. So it was easier for me to heal through it. But my ex-husband and the children of my father ended up getting in a horrible wreck back in 2021. It was so bad, in fact, that it was closed casket. So we couldn't show the kids. We couldn't see them or anything like that. But it was really my catalyst for my evolution and my spiritual journey, really. I just broke the mythology of everything that I was taught, because something inside of me one day, whenever I was just sitting there and just crying and not understanding, and how do I tell my children this? How do I walk through life with them and not make them feel like this is something that can hinder them, and use it in a way that is more beautiful and they can help people heal through. This is their testimony too. And one day they're going to be able to help somebody through this. But how am I going to teach them as a mom,
Yeah.
And one day I'm just sitting in my bathroom and I'm just crying. And I felt like this presence just come on me. And I say it's Daniel, because just how people make you, it's energy.
Yeah. You know the
People,
energy.
Yeah, it's energy.
You
And
knew him when he came.
Yeah, I knew it. And it just felt like he said, you're here because you know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
You know exactly what to do. You know how to lead these kids. You know how to install the love in them. It's in you. It's in you. And so I say all this with trying to hold my tears back. But when I did that, and I dropped the mythology of God and took him out of a box,
Ooh.
and stopped humanizing everything and what people told me it should be or how it should be, or just I dropped it all, and I just finally said, you know what, I'm glad that's how you see God, but God's so much bigger, so much bigger to me, and it's so much more beautiful, knowing what I know, and now I'm able to teach my kids that, I'm able to teach on that. Hey, this is actually a beautiful thing, and he's just on the other side of the veil,
That's right.
We can't see him physically, but energy, he's here. Spiritually, he's here. And that's what we are, a spirit, right? Mm-hmm. We're all energy and spirit. And I say that I try to be less human every day, because I want to be so connected, like Wi-Fi to God. And that's already installed in me. So I have to find me to find that, And
Oh, sister, I'm over here like a whole ass roller coaster, like tears in my eyes, but now I'm all excited because I'm like, yes, less human every day. I love that.
Yeah, because the more we think human when it comes to God, especially, we're gonna compartmentalize him. We're gonna put him in a box. We're gonna say this. We're gonna make it look like this. We're gonna say, he's a devil with horns coming out and a pitchfork. That's humanizing.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's love, and if I can exude that, if I can show that in my character and who I am and compassion, then I know God's living through me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like that's maybe what Daniel was telling you when he showed up in the bathtub that day, was he is you, you are it, and you have everything you need to guide those babies through, and it's all with love. That's
exactly what it told me, because I am, there's that piece of God in me. And it's in everyone, right?
It's in everybody.
And that's the thing that, my husband likes to joke and say, he's like, you're perfect. You do nothing wrong. You say all the right things in the wrong situation, and you just do everything perfect. We'll never be able to live up to you. And I'm like, that's not true. I was like, my standards are high because I've climbed the ladder, and you can too. Mm-hmm. And that's what's beautiful. Everybody gets to have this this capacity of love and joy and gratitude that God gives, and source.
I love
universe.
that you say that so much, Mercedes. So it's so often that I hear other people say, well, Amanda's life is just perfect. Well, everything over here. Kimba and I were sitting down at a dinner one evening, and another friend of ours literally said, well, yeah, but it's easy for you guys. You'll have everything in your life's perfect and you don't go through anything. And it's not the first time I've heard that, and my heart could literally shatter into a million pieces. But I love how you just said that you climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And they can too. Anybody can, right? But I do believe that is that one source connection that you've got, and it's open and it's flowing. And so the truth is there's almost nothing that could come up during the day that even makes you feel otherwise, because you know it's going to be okay.
Yes, you do. And that's really what I had to do. I had to surrender. Yeah. I remember laying in my living room floor one night, and I just felt like it was all on me, you know, and what do I do? What do I do? I'm out of options. I don't know what to do. And I just remember they're laying there, and I put some music on, and I said, you know what? I surrender. If you show me what you can do right now in this surrender, I won't think twice about it ever again. And so since then, my faith has been the one thing that I lean into. It's everything to me. So
I love that. And I think another way to say it is that we all have the vortex we can step into.
Yes.
Right. And I love the way that you worded God as love, because myself growing up, similar to you, in a very Christian household full of lots of faith and love at that capacity, I also am in my true awakening process realized that God is so much bigger than religion could ever make him, right?
Yeah.
Or it, or however you want, because it's not a gender.
Right.
There's no gender to God. And the best word for God is love. And is creation, and it's that energy of love and creation that is us. We are it. It's what's around us. It is the universe. It is the earth. It is nature. It is us. We are it. It is. And when we really operate from that place of love and compassion, we're in the vortex. We're climbing the ladder. Yeah. We're connected to source. And from there, you do truly have everything that you need because you've surrendered to receiving.
Yeah.
And you see that in Mercedes, guys. If y'all follow her on social media now, you'll see pictures of her meditating with her kids before school. Her kids know breath work. They do yoga, right? They're already pushing into being the CEO of their lives at a very young age.
Yeah.
And you've really, to me, and in other podcasts we talk about this, we won't dive into it today, and I know Mercedes aligns with me in this mindset, but it's part of their soul contract, right?
Yes,
To go
100%.
through that experience in losing their father, and then learning at that young of age that they actually didn't lose him at all. He's one dimension over, and to be able, the impact that these kids are already going to be able to leave on some adults as they continue to grow, that deal with the grieving process of a loved one at that capacity is just huge. And you have forefronted that. So I don't think that there's anybody in our circle, or whether it's a CeoAf family or in our personal friend circle, that hasn't seen you really just latch on to that, making sure that the kids really were growing through this and didn't. In fact, I think that this experience pushed your kids forward. I didn't really see a step back.
Yeah.
You came in quick,
and
crushed it. And I just think, which is what you do, you execute.
Yeah, I don't think, I just do. And that's the thing that I did not want it to do to them. I didn't want it. So I grew up in a place where, my father, he battled bipolar. So there was a lot of mental issues, and I could have very easily used that as a crutch, just like so many others do. My parents are this or that, so I have to be this or that. Or I went through this, so this is why I can't love this way or be this way. And instead of using that as a clutch, I wanted it to be more so of a, hey, I went through this and I learned this. Let me help you. Because this is a beautiful experience that, for me, for you, for us, we can rise together. And I just wanted it. And two, like one day I'm going to get a nonprofit started for them, and just for them to help families in need. So that's a mission that I want to, I guess I'm putting it out there already, non-intentionally.
What's happening? You already said it. We already know what happens when you say things. You manifest it full circle.
So I'm manifesting it already. But for them, because I wanted it to be something that they could pour into others, more so not be a victim of.
Which is such an integral part of who you are. I think we've just tapped on really the two key aspects of Mercedes is truly execution and give back.
Yeah.
If we had to sum her up into two things, execution and give back, which is truly why we asked you to be a coach for CeoAf. Yeah. Because that's what CeoAf is. So let's jump into the Warrior Program for just a second.
Okay, yes, I love it.
Okay.
I love the Warrior part.
Yeah, so Mercedes joined, I guess if you will, out there, just share with everybody, because I just love her testimony on the Warrior Program. And the reason why she decided to become a coach, but really you've came in and you've executed on all the homework we asked you to do. And that's one of the things that we see in the Warrior Program. I'm like, man, everybody does the Warrior Program at a different pace. You may do one semester in Warrior One. You may do 2 semesters in Warrior One. You may do 4 semesters in Warrior One. It's about building it out in your own time, but your own time is quick.
Yeah.
You are an executor. So you came in, you did the homework, and verified by her bookkeeper, who's also, Kelsey has been on our podcast before. So Kelsey Burks does Mercedes books and verified to us that their company grew by 306%.
Yes.
Not only that, but you've gotten Philip off the road.
Yes. So we do now have a driver, and I'm thankful for that because that can release him to help me out a little bit more and do other things too. But my testimony for the CEO is it's second to none. I mean, really, this coaching program that y'all have put together, what I love so much about it is it's just not someone telling me encouraging things or to go Google it or to this is what you need to do, now go figure it out. It's tangible things in your hand where I can work on every single day, and that's what I love. Like, I operate great on that. You give me a system, you give me a pattern, I'm going to work on that. And so that's what I did. As soon as I got the homework, I knew y'all wouldn't give me this for nothing. I mean, y'all are you have the 8-figure incomes, the businesses to back it up. I've seen Kimba rise a company to what RKG is like, and just seeing where I met you at the time and what you've taken to RKG now, and even CEO, man, like it just popped off. Not even a
couple years ago,
and it's just like blowing up. So I knew I was in the hands of good people. And that's what I was real confident in. We went through a thing where we were trying to get some money from a customer, and I'll just say this real quick because this is how much confidence that I had. And my husband's like, well, what do we do? What are the steps? And I'm like, I don't know, but I know I got a back of people behind me that already know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to listen and do what I got to do. And I'll just write my emails however I need to write them.
Yeah. But we call that love sandwiching the fuck out of things.
Yeah.
Folks.
And so, but that's it. So I knew I had tangible things to really make the moves, the power moves in my business and structure it the way that it needed to be. And also I had the trust in y'all. Like, I had the trust in my people. Yeah. And so it was really no questioning for me. It was just like, okay, give it to me and I'm going to get it done as quickly as I can because I too want to I have desires. And money is a part of that.
Yep.
People are afraid of money, and it's really money, like you say, money is good in my hands because I can do good with money. I can take my family and do extravagant things that they've never been able to experience. I can give somebody something that, could benefit their life in a more profound way. And so money is what we need in society. So why not want it in your hands to do good things with it?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we believe at CeoAf, guys, is that if the good people do not start taking their success seriously, then the bad people will have all of the money.
Yes, exactly. And so that was my thought process. I was just like, you know what? I'm ready to take my family and the people around me to the next level. So what do I got to do to show up for that? For my desires? And back to the discipline. I had it installed in me. So I was like, gun ho, let's go. I cannot stop because I got this momentum and I want to keep running with it.
I love that. So we actually had 2 new pods kick off this morning, 2 new Live for Joy Warrior pods. One of those, Mercedes, is co-coaching with Rachel before she launches her own pod next month. And that was one of the things that I said in there is I was like, hey, if you guys are brand new to the Warrior program, some of the things that we're going to ask you to do the first few weeks are going to feel a little weird. That's why our core value is keep it weird and have fun, because we understand and respect that this journey is going to get a little bit weird quick. But listen, if our homework is jump on your right foot 4 times and pat your head with your left hand and dance around in circles while you're doing it, please just do it. Right?
I'm going to video it too.
Have faith in the process.
And
right?
also know that others have already done it. Okay,
Yeah.
We're not asking you to do something that hasn't already been done by us.
Yes.
Yeah, like this does work. So if it feels weird, just know many people have now gone before you. And for everybody that executes on this, it works.
It does.
And that's what we've seen in your success is that you came in. You guys had a lot of great things going on, right? Philip had the company.
Yeah.
You came in and saw an opportunity in the brokerage side of things saying, hey, we can actually scale without having to buy more trucks and have more drivers and do the things. I can start, because you're so great with people probably from doing hair for so long.
Yeah.
Well, just being who you are, but that skill set of different personalities of humans and being able to relate to them is a skill set that hairstylists pick up over time. And you were able to come in and really scale out that side of the brokerage company by utilizing the homework. And that's one of the cool things for me in the Warrior program is we see people take the Warrior curriculum and plug it into so many other different types of businesses, to where so many of our Warriors now don't only have one company. In fact, they have 2, 3, 4, and are stacking up different investments from there because they've learned how to build out a process, track their numbers, make data-driven decisions, and take the hats off.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think in the process of just the 6 months of the first Warrior One program, for me, I now have partnered with good friends, Jenny Conley for TC Solutions. So we have solar underneath our belts now. Selling our home and moving into a new home, or we didn't sell our home, moving out of our old home, we kept it to create an Airbnb property. So we're creating investments, we're adding LLCs, we're doing all these things. And I look back and, I got to pause for a moment sometimes because what am I doing? What am I doing? This is cool shit. Like, this is fun. And I'm doing it with people that just, there's not one person around my circle that doesn't have a great mindset. And that doesn't encourage me, that doesn't inspire me. So how can I not stop, And that's what's so crucial, who we have around us and who is in our network, who is in our inner circle is so important. And I'm so grateful that it landed me here in CEO because I'm excited for this next journey in this chapter.
I am too. I'm so excited to see who all you get to bring up with us along the way. Mercedes, you're such a great leader and example to all of them. Kimba was sharing your top executor and all the things, and I'm like, and love, and she's a lover.
I do love. Yes, I do.
Which is what I love about your brand. So all of the coaches, the Warrior coaches, what we have them do is they come up with a brand. So if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you can see my shirt. It's a Live for Joy pod, which is Coach Rachel's brand. We also have the Rise and Rain pod. We have the Burn the Ships pod. And coming in hard in March, we're also going to have the Lighthouse Warrior pod. Which really fits the other side of Mercedes on the give back, because you truly are just a light for everybody that wants it. And that's the beautiful thing about a lighthouse to me. And I want you to share briefly how you came to this. When I think lighthouse, I think about that point. The lighthouse is here to give the light for anybody that wants to come to it, right? Yeah. And but we're going to light the way as long as you want to come.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest things at CeoAf is we want to bring everybody with us, but only, like Amanda has the chicken skin. We get so passionate.
I got big time chicken skin. You can pluck my feathers.
We ain't ruffle them. We're plucking them.
We'll ruffle them. We won't pluck them. But truly, that's one of the things that we say is, hey, we want to bring everybody with us as long as you want to come.
Yeah, exactly.
And all you got to do is want it, and otherwise, we're the Lighthouse, baby. We got a vault full of resources. We got proven systems that we know work. We got marketing plans that plug and play into every type of industry out there. We have all the mindset activities that you could possibly do to rewire your brain to become CeoAF. All you really have to do is want it. Right?
Exactly.
And so I just love that. So what was it about the Lighthouse that stuck out to you? And you're like, yeah, this is the pod.
So I was actually having conversation with Rachel, and she was like, what's your pod? What's it going to be named? And I was like, I think I already have it. And she was like, the Lighthouse. I was like, the Lighthouse. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so you. And I was like, I know, right? Yeah. It just felt so at home. And for me, the Lighthouse just means that, through my whole life, really, and everybody can relate to this because we all go through things in life. Each season, as we're kids, as we're teens, as we're young adults, even as adults, we go through things. And sometimes it's dark. It's dark as shit, And through everything that I've ever been through in life, I've always been able to see the light. And I look back and the things that I've gone through as a kid, when I go to look at my child me, she was still happy, in the darkest of her times, in the midst of the chaos, she was still happy. And that's what it kind of represented for me. And as I've grown through those things and those lessons and those trials and dark times in life, it's only poured wisdom into me. And so therefore I'm able to shine my light in those areas and onto other people. And that's kind of where I shine my light in my writing. I love poetry. I love being able to write. I love to speak too, but writing's just like my home, and it comes out a little bit different. But that's what it was for me. It was like, I am the light in the dark. everybody can be the light in their darkness, and then we can shine that light out.
Yep, I love that so much. And I love that it is a lighthouse because it is on the water, and you are, in my mind, a soul that is on the water. So I'm like, everything.
Well, I am a water
lighthouse.
sign, so it does fit me pretty well.
What are a Pisces? What are you?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, a Scorpio.
Yes, yeah.
I love that.
I do too. So Mercedes, in that, what was it about? Because naturally we wanted you to be a coach. You're great. You fit all the core values. You use the curriculum to crush it in your business by 306%, which was killer. What was it that made you say yes? And the reason that I asked this question is because with the coaches, the truth is, people pay to get coached by us, and we all get paid to coach. None of us get paid to coach what we make inside of our cash flowing companies. Right. Mm-hmm. All of our time, and because it's in our curriculum, we all do know what we're worth per hour, right?
Right, yes.
And in our regular cash flow business, we know what our hourly rate is. So I always like to hear why somebody says, you know what, I'm going to give my time here, because naturally every day is 24 hours in a day, and we get to decide where to invest those. So when somebody comes and says, I want to invest my time into building not CeoAf for the brand and the company, if you will, but the clients inside of CeoAf, and I'm ready to bring other people with me, I'm always just so interested to hear, because in that moment, I always feel like there is people are picking people over the profits, right? Yeah. That you're willing, and maybe that you've bought back some of your time, so you're willing to give some of it to others. But what did that look like for you in making that decision of where is my time best allocated for my higher purpose and impact across the board right now? Because you are a mom, you are a wife, you're a multi-business owner, and you're pushing into new investments.
Yeah. So whenever I got asked the question, it was more so, how could I not? Really, it's the environment, it's the culture they already, put out, and just what y'all believe in. It just aligns so well with me, and I figured if it's going to be taught in business, this is the best way that it's going to be taught, and I want to freaking be a part of it. Because I want to be a part of the rise. I want to be part of it because I believed in it. Obviously, I was doing the work. I could have easily slipped off of it if I didn't believe in it, right? But I believed in it, and I trusted in it, and that to me made it a no-brainer decision because I aligned so well with it, and I want to see people rise too. I want to be a part of someone's journey, whether that be just a small part where I've talked to them, and help them through a little bitty thing or a big thing in their business or whatever it is. Man, the give back is so much more, and and it's a give and flow. You can't always take. I'd rather give, and then before you know it, it just comes back.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah,
you already know that you have to give in order to receive.
Yeah, and it's just so much more joyful whenever you do it.
It feels good.
Yeah,
it feels good. It really does.
I feel more satisfied when I'm coaching or not necessarily coaching, but just even empowering someone or encouraging someone or helping someone. It makes me feel good as a person.
Mm-hmm. Speaking light over somebody.
Yeah.
And that's part of your soul contract. And that's what, we look for in the coaches is truly somebody that you can tell by their passion for others that they were contracted to come here, as a light worker, as a healer. Yeah. As somebody that brings other people up. And that really is the purpose of CeoAf. I mean, we build out businesses because money matters, like you said. And I love being able to afford to travel in the places that I can connect closer with God and with myself and with my family. And there was actually a little point in time, I guess it was a couple of years ago, that Amanda and I are like, well, are we going to keep going? And if we are, we better start bringing some people with us or it's going to be lame here. But it's really about building out the businesses so that we have the cash flow to put the cap on the stress, to be able to live a life by design, and then truly be able to focus on our impact and what our soul contract was for the purpose of this incarnation in this life.
Yes.
And you are about to just be such a key, you already do that for so many people, but fixing to be such a key part of that inside of CeoAf that I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm excited, I'm all of the things. But Mercedes does shine so much light out on social media already, right? So even by the time this podcast launch, we'll probably be close to loading your pod up, man. Yeah. Like it's gonna be.
It's getting here.
It's getting here quick. So I'm like,
so quick.
I don't even want to say before her pod launches because it may be launched by the time this episode releases. But go follow. Mercedes, will you tell them, girl, just to wrap this up today, where is the best place for them to connect with you, follow you, all of those kinds of things, to get a piece of what your life that you're spreading to the world?
Yeah, so probably just Instagram and Facebook is what I mainly use. I am trying to get into LinkedIn, these new platforms. But Mercedes Davis on Facebook, and then it's at Redheaded AF.
Woohoo!
On Instagram. So you can get me there. Again, that's Mercedes Davis on Facebook and Redheaded AF on Instagram.
Love it. Thank you so much, Mercedes. Super excited to have you in the studio live with Amanda and I today. And I think, girls, are we going to go eat?
We're going to go eat.
I'm hungry.
We're going to go eat. No, I don't think any of us have eaten today. I saw Kimba trying to snack on some F3 from Tracy Frizzell.
Yeah, she was trying to feed you as I was coming in.
I was like, Amanda, I have another half of this meal prep if you want to heat it up, girl. I only ate one patty. She gave me two. So that was like half a patty. So we're going to go run and get some food. If you guys, here's the biggest thing about this podcast, right? If you got any value from it, which with the guests that we bring on, man, honestly, it's hard not to find some value nugget, right? I like to call those the knowledge nuggets that we dip inside of the secret sauces, and we want to make sure that we share that to everybody. So don't let the ripple effect end with you. Make sure that you share this podcast. Make sure that you go follow Mercedes Davis on Facebook or Redheaded AF on Instagram. Connect with all of us on social media. If you're not following us, drop in, send us a message. We do write back.
We do.
That's the thing. You can message us on any of our social media platforms, and there is unless you land in my others folder, you're going to get a response, especially if you say, hey, I heard the podcast, right? So definitely reach out to us. We genuinely do love to be the Lighthouse, right? So if you need anything, feel free to reach out, and we will see you in our next episode. Bye, y'all.